Ta-da! Hello, everybody. I'm John Zidar, and there is nobody with me today. Yes, Taylor is okay. I can answer that question straight up. She's got some life changes going on, which aren't bad, but just keeping her real busy. So maybe I won't have someone pop in here. There's always an open door, but I told you they've got meetings, my Penny Boys group this day. It's always a conflict of interest in time. Speaking of a conflict of interest of time, because I've taken this new position with Penny Boys over there from 9:30 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day, trading that entire day with anybody that shows up on a free member page. So please, there's a link down below. It says this is the Penny Boys link. Come on in, come through Discord, into our group, come to the free members page. Anytime, any day, we're there trading. I've got meetings now. I got meetings, and one of them is on Monday, and it starts at 4 and doesn't end until just after 5, which cuts into my video making time for Mondays. So we're going to switch it around. I had taken off Wednesdays because I do have other things I need to get done. I do have a life, believe it or not. So we're going to do videos on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we have one for the weekend. So the beginning and the end, Monday and Friday, we're not going to have any videos. Just so you know. I see my gang is here. Belmore, Mark Ryan, the underdog. Where's my Kashera? Oh, no Kashera yet. Right, guys? We're missing Kashera. This is our core group. This is the team right here. People come in later. I hope so, because we've only got 4 stocks to look at right now, and that's okay. You know, I don't have to rush. I feel like I'm always rushing. So if we get more people coming in, we'll have some time to look at some other stocks. Right now, let's jump on into it. And hey, I heard a rumor that you guys have got a pool. A pool going now. 3-to-1 odds that I'm not going to hit the button every time. Yeah, we haven't had a show yet where I've made it, have we? Not yet. So we're going to try that. That's not where I wanted to start. Sorry about that. We are getting there, but the boobs of Wall Street is not where we're going to start this show. Why are we even over there, right? There's a reason. I swear, there's always a reason to my madness. So we're going to start with KPTI, Cara Farm Therapeutics. I think you're going to see my notes. Yes, you see my notes too. That's okay. This came from Mark Ryan. I've already got some things to give me some heads up here. We've got financials coming out November 5th, and they've had favorable phase 3 results, and we're expecting results for that by the second half of 2025. So the back half of 2025. We're looking at a year away. So we did get good news today on it. KPTI, she finished the day at $1. She was up over 19% today, which was 16-cent jump. She is on the NASDAQ, which is better than the OTC stocks in a lot of ways, folks. One, you don't have to pay for your transactions. It's easier to scale in and scale out, buying multiple times in, selling multiple times out, which is the way most traders do it. You do that on the OTC, you're losing money every time you make a move. So we hate that. You get a lot more volume and a lot more money on the major exchange. So you're going to have a lot more opportunities to make gains. There's trading, aftermarket, pre-market, which you never get with the OTC. Even if you've seen it being traded, it ain't by me and you. It's by marketers and brokers who like to tear the prices down because they make money on transactions. Every broker. And down there on the OTC, there's lots of brokers. On the NASDAQ, there's one broker, the NASDAQ. They're watching all their guys. Up on the New York, they're watching all their guys. On the OTC, there's a lot of them down there, and there's really not anybody watching them all. That's why they call it decentralized, because there's no oversight for all of it. So KPTI is on the NASDAQ. So we've got a good thing going there. This is an American company out of Massachusetts. So first thing, I normally don't like reading the descriptions for these biotechs. I mean, blah, blah, blah. It's the same old thing over and over. This one actually gave us some good information. The company is a commercial stage pharmaceutical company. We're always looking at clinical stage pharmaceutical companies. Huge difference. Commercial means they're making money. They got drugs on the market they're getting revenues from. Clinical stage means they're still looking for a gold in the hill. They haven't got it yet, so they need money to keep looking and looking. So I prefer finding the ones that are commercialized. This company is a commercialized staged pharmaceutical company with its dedication is in pioneering novel cancer therapies. Since its founding, Carapharm has been an industry leader in oral compounds that address nuclear export dysregulation of fundamental mechanism. Down here was what I wanted to read. They have drugs that are already approved in the U.S. market. The company has 3 oncology indications. It may be one drug that they're selling for 3 different things. Every indicator is a reason that drug can be used. So you may have a drug that can be used for 10 things. When you put it through the FDA trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, you only want to give them one indicator because they're going to have to test every single one of them. And the more they got to test, the longer it takes. So if you know it's good for 10, pick the easiest one to prove, get it through those phase trials, or pick an unmet medical need, something nobody else has made a drug for. You'll get orphan designation, fast track designation. All these are being done by the FDA to help you get that drug out there since there's nothing out there. Once your drug is out, then come back and say, hey, it's also good for these other 9 things. Well, it's already done phase 1 and phase 2, or, phase 1. So you get in there at a quicker rate and you get your drugs out a lot faster. And you start making money while you're proving you can make more money with the same drug. That's what they've got going here. They also say that they have, it has also received regulatory approvals of various indications in growing numbers of ex-U.S. territories and countries, including Europe and the United Kingdom and China, right there. They are focused on pipeline targeting indications in multiple high unmet need cancers, including, and then they got a big old list right there. So that's their focus, getting these drugs out there quick. Now, I normally use the OTC markets to do all of my research, at least initially. I find most of what I want over there, but they do have gaps. One of the gaps here was they had no freaking news. There was nothing. So I've come to my new favorite news site. This is Stock Titan. They also have a momentum tracker up here. It's a scanner. I post this information all day on Twitter and Discord. And it's just constantly telling you stocks that are moving based on the impact of news. It's an AI site. It's a scanner that's tweaked for a certain type of movement. But we do use this one a lot. Well, they tell us they've got financial results coming out November 5th. And being a commercialized company, that means they're making money. Normally, I would have said, who cares? Clinical stage, they're not making anything. We're going to see how much they're spending is all you get to see. Key Pharma announces favorable change in co-primary endpoint for pivotal phase 3 Sentry trial in myelofibrosis. Any phase 3 trial that you're coming to the end of is a big deal. This is another home run out of the park. You get this drug on the market, you start making more money. So they have got this to look forward to, but it says here that it is the second half of 2025. We're going to get those results. So we're waiting. And then they say they've got some good positive results here with another phase trial for another drug. So it deserves some more research and due diligence. Now, I went through their filings, not to waste any time. I jumped into a Form SC13G, which is filed whenever there's a new investor. Somebody buys enough shares, they become part owner of the company. Looks like Hillbridge Capital Management here bought 7.2% of the company, and they just did this here recently. I only look at recent filings. I don't know exactly what date. September 30th is when this one happened. The other filing is a Form 4. Form 4s are nice because they tell you when the insiders acquire or dispose of the company stock like you and I get. Now, they can do that in a lot of ways. So you just come in here right to the center here, and if you see an S, it means they've sold something. If you see a P, it means they've purchased something. See any other letter, they've gotten them or lost them in another way. Might be important. You might want to look into it. And you can normally get an explanation for what it is right there. This one was a sale. They sold 3,000 shares. Now, it's really not a lot because they've got 1,100,000 shares and they only sold 3,000. Well, if you read it down here, it's an automatic sale to cover taxes. That's something else, right? So it's nothing for us to be concerned about. We don't have to worry. So what was the relative volume around the company right now? Wow. Wow. That's impressive. She's been doing less than 1 million shares a day over the last 30 days. Today, she's over 8 million shares, 8.2 million. Share structure for the company. What do we got? Yeah, it's okay. Anything under 100 million is really good. We've got 124 million outstanding shares. I don't know what the insiders own. Subtract that from the outstanding. That roughly gives you your float, what you and I are dealing with on the market. Right now, all I can say is the float isn't any higher than the outstanding share count of 124 million. And it could be considerably less. One of my favorite lines. Market cap for the company right now, 104 million. Not that I give a hoot about that. Not until everybody has the same number of shares. That just doesn't make sense to me. A company that has 1 billion shares and is at 10 cents looks like it's worth more than a company at $10 that has 1 million shares, because the market caps are just based on how many shares you got times the price. So to me, I don't like it. But a lot of people work with it. So there you go. Financials for KPTI. They say they're making money, and yeah, they are. Look at that. Over the last 4 years, we got to put 3 zeros behind any of these numbers. So we're talking millions. Over the last 4 years, they've been bouncing between 100 million and 200 million, and they're in the middle right now at 146 million. But look at that. Cheap, cheap, cheap. It only cost them 5 million. They got to keep over $140 million in profit. That's good. Take a look at the quarterlies. They're doing good there too. They were doing in the 30 millions. Now they're at 42 million, setting a new high over the year. And again, profit margins are really, really high. I'm liking all that. What do we got here for the balance sheet? We got to bring those 3 zeros here too. We got 84 million in the bank. That's what I call it. About 14 million in assets. Liabilities are higher, 350 million roughly. So we are holding stockholder deficit in this company, which is kind of strange. I'd have to go through the financials to see where that lies, but we're holding 132 million in deficit. The revenues are increasing. They're getting strong. Even though they dropped annually, you could see on the quarterlies, they're getting real strong right now. And we've already been through the disclosures, and we've got aftermarket activity. We're up to 21.5%. We were just over 19%. So let's go see what the chart looks like. You can see me. I'm going to get that pool, folks. I found it, and I got in on it. 3-to-1 odds. You better believe I'm going to capitalize on that. So let's close all this up. I was working for my Discord group. We had lots of stocks. I drew lots of lines. Pinch everything. Got to become so big when I only look at one chart. It looks like a football field to me. I get lost here. I got to turn my head left and right to see it. So let's see what we've got here for KPTI Carroll Farm. Jumping all the way back to the years so we can get an idea. She's been flat. Let me get my high bubbles and low bubbles in here. I took those off because they were actually getting in the way of our trades. No, I don't want that, but I do want my bubbles. Where's my bubble button? High bubbles, crosshairs. Oh, for Pete's sake, where's my bubble button? There it is. Could you guys even see that? Yeah, you see it. All right. Now, let's see if I open this up again. 1 hour. No, I want 1 day. All right. No high bubbles or low bubbles yet. Stinky. All right. There would be a high bubble right here at $1.95. I don't see any reverse split, so that price is real. Sounds real. $1.95. That hit in February of this year, and it looks like we had a low back here. And I need time to fix this. 60 cents, that was back in December of last year. So from 60 cents up to about $2. So we have like 250% there. And then she's been dribbling back downhill, and we hit a low here of 66 cents. So we're getting close to that low, but we have bounced off of our 200 haul here, and we are trying to break out, it looks like. Taking a look at our 6-month downhill trend underneath the 200, got up on top of the 200, sat there for quite a while, a couple of weeks, and then she decided to break loose. She put down this big strong, oh, I love these. I call these pillars, folks. When you have a bar above your MAs like this, and then it shoots this wick through a bunch of MAs, a bunch of them, think of each MA as a layer of different type of dirt, sand, dirt, rock. Oh my God, the core of the earth. When I see a pillar go all the way down, but the solid bar stays up, in my book, from what I've seen, from all the charts I've looked at, it's ready to climb. It's put a deep foundation into the ground. It's tightened things down. It's ready to build a skyscraper. And we get some big bounces after this. She's getting big bars starting to rise, higher highs and higher lows. Everything is looking good here. Everything is turning up. All of our oscillators are climbing. What we need is some more volume. Always want more volume. You can't have too much volume. So it's just a closer look at what's going on there on the 1 hour chart. Everything is sweet. Everything is climbing at a nice, easy pace. Got a lot of strength sitting on the board. She's pulling back, bouncing on that. You've got to have pullbacks. If the price gets too high from that 9-day, it's going to crash. So be glad it whipped down and touched it and pulled right back up. We're loving that. Take a look at our 5-day. Flat, up on the 200, starting to get some volatility now. That's what you need. We need bounces. She doesn't fly, she bounces. So we've got to start climbing, start bouncing off of one of our MAs. We're bouncing off of the 20, floating on the 9. She's doing what she should. Now, when she breaks this 20, she's probably going to come down to this double 50 and 200 haul. Most of you don't use the 200 haul. I'm telling you, folks, the 200 haul is very instrumental. It's like a 200-day EMA. It pays heed to the price and helps the price. So whenever the price drops down to the 200 haul, I expect a bounce. But put the 50-day in there as well. Oh, my God, that's solid. Think of the 9 days being balsa wood, the 20-day is being plywood, your 50 is a plank, and either 200 is a 2x4. So when the price starts falling, you can think about it, how much pressure it's hitting that with and how much does it need to bounce. So this looks like she's in a climb right now. I'd at least keep my eye on her. The volume was there today, a lot more than we've had in the last few days. If the volume continues, she should continue to climb. But take your gains on the climb. Don't wait for her to come down before you're motivated to sell. All right, let's come on back here. This is the dangerous part. Right? This is when I forget. So somebody, you got to talk to me here. Let's see who's in here. Tinky Pink Dot. Good to see you. I don't think I've seen your name before. Hello, hello. Kashera. We were hoping you'd be here. Ask anybody. Watch the rewind. I did call out your name. Ravi. Good to have you, Ravi. I love all these new names in here. Kenny Killebrew. Yeah, and you're putting down some tickers. We'll try to get to some of these folks. Give us hot tickers. JPC90 David. Evening, sir. Appreciate you being here. First thing I got to do before I leave is to hit that button and blind you. I got to hurt you just to get to where I need to go. All right, let's take a look at the next one. This is VTXB. I thought for sure it was going to be another pharmaceutical company. Anytime I see an X, I think pharmacies, but it wasn't. What was this? This was requested by the underdog. Thank you, pal. No, we're actually looking at a Bitcoin mining company. And with Bitcoin being on the rise, and I'll be honest, I haven't been watching it, haven't even looked. Shame on me. Bitcoin is a serious, I don't want to call it an investment. It's another place to put your money instead of putting it in a bank or holding it. I don't know. It's just a place to hide assets. I can't imagine people really investing in Bitcoin because to double your money, it's really got to take a big jump. So, for me, it's just a place to put a lot of money until I find a place I want to invest it. So what do we got here? They've been expanding their business, as you're going to see by the news, and they've just entered into a new type of investment strategy. And though we can't get into why they're doing it, they do give you some links to get information to why they're doing this. VTXB, Vortex Brands, finished today at a super low price. Wow. 0004. Naturally, with that price, she's on the pink. Pink is the bottom tier on the OTC. It is the riskiest, and I'm really starting to hate pinks personally, folks. I just had another reverse stock split, INN. They now have a D, INNC. They now have a D at the end. They did a 1 in 2,000 reverse stock split. I had over 250,000 shares. I barely have over 1,000 now. I have lost tens of thousands of dollars on pinks. So do not invest. This is my opinion. Do not invest in pinks. You want to play a run, but do not lock your money up in a pink. I'm sorry for any companies out there that are pinks that are doing the best you can, but you need to get your butts up on the QB. Start getting those financials audited. Get that price up over a penny. These stocks down here, they're fun to play, but you better not play for long. It's like being at the casino. The longer you're with them, the more money they get. So get in, take your gains, and get the heck out. So 0004 is a stock I wouldn't look at. I don't look at anything under 0005 when I even look at them anymore because they just sit down there forever. They're like hard beans that have to soak in the water for a long time before they get soft. And I just don't have that much time as a day trader. So she was up 15% almost today, which is 405. So it's half of one of these numbers. That's as much as she went up today. She does have all the verified information you're going to expect with the pink. You don't get any validated information. We get this compliments of the OTC markets. They go out and do some due diligence, and she does cover transfer agent verified, which is important. Do a little due diligence. If you don't know what it is, click it. It'll take you right to it and tell you what it is, and then you can go do some more due diligence. And a company verified profile. Honestly, don't know what's involved with that either. But when you're going to get into a pink, you want some validated information because we're taking the management's word for everything. And unless you know them personally, you better go do DD on management first. Forget about the news press. Forget about any filing if you find any. Go study the management. They got a solid record behind them of success, or have they gotten away with some junk before and they're just trying it again? Watch. So I'm not saying anything bad about this company. I'm just telling you my general opinion about pinks. So this is an American company out of California. What have we got here? We got lots of news. We're not going to jump into all of this, but I want you to see they went into AI. They are looking for AI-based bots for Bitcoin trading. They announced a new quarterly cash dividend for Bitcoin mining, and as soon as they announced it, they kicked it up 33%. I don't know what it is. You can dive into the news presses, find out. Then here they start expanding. They expand their units towards doubling their current capacity. They boost their hash power by 35%. Continue expansion of Bitcoin mining unit acquisition. Expanding mine operations by 20% increase on hash power. And then this piece of news. So as you can see, I don't understand all this hash power stuff, but obviously if it's more and more and it's worthy of telling you, it must be a good thing. So they're growing. Now, I don't know how many Bitcoin they have. That would be the first thing you'd probably want to look at. I did dive into this piece of news. The company has begun acquiring MicroStrategy, ticker MSTR stock, as part of a new corporate strategy. Adding MicroStrategy stock to our balance sheet allows us to leverage the arbitrage strategy MicroStrategy employs between corporate public markets and the value of Bitcoin. I'd have to do some research to see what that arbitrage is about. The initial purchase is of 10 shares of Master and is just the beginning, with the company planning to add at least that many shares monthly and will report it in their quarterly holdings. And if you want to understand that strategy, they've got a article here and the CEO talking about it. Now, Master is on the market. Currently, they are at $244 a share. I don't know anything about the company, but they're buying 10 shares a month, they said, and they've got a reason for it because of something they do with the arbitrage with Bitcoin. So let's see what the relative volume was around the company today. If I can get my buttons to work. She's up a little bit, about, what'd you call that, 20% roughly, going from 50 million shares a day as an average over the last 30 days to 60 million. Share structure for the company, oh, God, got a lot of shares in the market, 2.8 billion shares roughly. Insiders own a nice chunk of those. They do have just under a billion, 860 million. We get all the rest, just shy of 2 billion. Now, they are so low right now, I'm not going to even warn you about a reverse stock split. You rarely ever see a reverse stock split down here. It just isn't worth it to them. Right now, the market cap is super low, even though they got a ton of shares multiplied times that itty bitty price, and it doesn't even come out to $1 million. Financials. Is company making any money? They are. Thank God for those 3 zeros. They went from $0 4 years ago up to 64,000. They're getting to keep just less than half of that, about 29,000. Quarterly, they're making money, but the profits are falling. Poor people made $11,000 and it cost them $15,000. What's the balance sheet look like? They got no money in the bank, so nobody's being paid this month. They got $301,000 in assets, twice as much in liabilities. And you know who's carrying that liability? Oh, we got more than that. That should have been about $380,000. There's some other numbers here that are coming into play. I can't explain it right now, but we've got 1.5 million, not just 300,000. So we're carrying a lot of extra deficit for this company. I'm not even quite sure where it's coming from. Disclosures. I would like to know how many Bitcoin they actually have. I mean, that's, if you're Bitcoin mining, isn't that what it's all about? Because first off, you're getting coins, and right now it's getting more and more expensive to get coins. And there are less coins to get after that last halving. It just takes a lot more energy, literally energy, to get these coins. But the coins you have, as Bitcoin grows, your pile of Bitcoins becomes worth more and more. And that's what it's all about. You've got a garden of Bitcoins that just keeps growing back there. So I really don't know how many they've got. Maybe jumping into their most recent quarterly report, which was just released a few days ago, they'll probably tell you in there. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. All right, let's go take a look at this chart now. You still with me? Yes. I'm going to have that pool. It's going to be all mine. I'll probably be able to buy a 6-pack with it. No, I don't drink. I do smoke. Now that it's legal, not that I've ever been embarrassed about smoking. I never saw the harm. But I don't drink. I did a lot of harm drinking. So we are looking at a 1-day, 1-year chart for VTXB, Vortex. Not a lot going on there. Not really. By golly. Just let me take one more look here, folks. Hit that. Please give me my bubbles. I want to just back up once and come back in. Oh, looky there. I'm a happy camper. Less work for me. So we've got a high here of 0013. I guess the 3 matters when you're this low. And we got a low here of 0002. That goes from September of this year to what? No, I'm sorry. January of this year to September of this year. And she's been flat. She hasn't been doing anything. She's riding on the 200-day haul here and stuck underneath the 200-day MA. And both of them are now starting to pinch in. That's about the only thing I can say here, is that they were just kind of level, and now they're actually starting to pinch. With the price in the center, these 200s are the strongest MAs on the board. So that's a vice grip. So it's got to pop somewhere. But it could just pop out and go straight. Doesn't mean it has to pop up or down. It just has to pop. But if we could get a piece of news, it would sure help here, because I'm thinking there's going to be nothing to really get on this chart. She was under the 200 on the 1 hour. She's gotten up on it. She pushed up a little bit. She's come down. She's just hanging around the 200, folks. We have no volume. We have no volatility. We have static, just bouncing between 0003 and 0005. That's a tight scalp. I wouldn't play it. I'd never play it. Fact of the matter is, you get in here at 0005 and say you buy $1,000 worth and it drops down to 0003. Well, you just lost 2/5, 2040. You just lost $400. $400 in that little itty bitty dip down there. Yes, there are big gains going up, but there are big losses coming down. And it takes more gains going up to get your losses that you lost going down. So I'm not crazy about this. I like Bitcoin companies. I don't know why this one is doing so bad. I should probably dive into the financial. That would probably give me some answers. All right, we're heading into the danger zone. We may be increasing it 4-1 now. Bets, folks, put them in. Is John going to forget to hit the button? Let's see. Anything over here to distract me? Radar. Oh, Radar, the bully app. Right. They just did some deal, didn't they? Changing operations, going into something else. We did look at them a while ago because Radar itself is nothing to look at. So that's on the table. ASPS. I think I looked at that chart today, but I'm just saying. STSS. We got two people asking for Radar. TNXP. Okay. IGPK. So we've got a few here. What time is it? 4:30. We're not doing too bad. All right. I'm hitting the button because that pool is mine. 4-1 odds I'm cashing in on. Cha-ching. What's the next one we got? This is why we have Boobs of Wall Street. I'm wondering if they're going to censor my video for that. I've had 4 videos taken down by Google, by YouTube, which are just stock videos. I mean, you know what I do. They've taken 4 down. I appealed all 4 of them. Some of them are over a year old. I appealed all 4 of them to have a human look at them and see if there's really something that's wrong. They say that I cannot scam people and I can't put out false information. It's like, what did I say? And they won't tell me what I did. And I can't appeal again. So 1 was approved, got back out there. 3 of them are missing. I don't even know which ones are missing. I'm going to have to go see if they even let me know anymore. So I had only a few stocks to look at earlier. They weren't coming in fast and furious. And I saw this tweet. Hey, John, Jen and John. Well, I'm not quite sure who Jen is. I'm not two-timing you, Taylor. Honest. There is no boobs. You get me in trouble, girl. Have you guys done any DD on ETST? $5 million buyback on a sub 4 million float with 12 million last quarter in revs. So I figured, you know what? Let me take a look at it. And when I started to look at it, I said, you know, this is worthy of sharing. So thank you, boobs. We're going to put this out there for everybody to see. This is ETST, Earth Science Tech. She was up 14 cents today, or at 14 cents. She was actually down 8%. She too is on the pink tier, so take everything with a grain of salt. She's got all of the validated information you're going to get. We've got independent directors listed here. On this site, the OTC, when you list independent directors here, it means that you're seriously thinking about uplisting. You've put a filing in somewhere, not just in a news press, blah, blah, blah. Everybody says it in a news press. No, this is a sign of seriousness. Green ticks, all green. And you can't uplist without independent directors. So once you list them, hey, so they may be going up to the QB, or better yet, maybe the NASDAQ. How about that? So this is an American company based out of Florida. Earth Science Tech is a diversified holding company engaged in acquisitions and operations of companies that illustrate potential growth. Presently, ETST is focused on emerging prospects in the health and wellness industry. The company is operating through its 100% owned subsidiaries. 1, rxcompoundstore.com, Complete Compounding Pharmacy, that one is, and then Peaks Curative, a telemedicine platform targeting men's health. Now, we're not going to go to their website or anything, but I do want to poke out some information I found. I bring this up to just show you there is no news. I've got no news here. We've got old news from 2023, but nothing here. But I did find a lot of information going through their filings. So in no particular order here, maybe I put them in chronological. Form 4s. This is when the insiders buy and sell the shares of the company. They do a lot of things, but I'm looking for buying and selling. This is an insider. Sanchez, he's a director on the 16th of last month. He purchased 100,000 shares at 15 cents. That gives him well over 1 million shares now. We had another insider, the CEO. He bought a whole bunch of shares on multiple days. Nope, same day, multiple times. Just kept buying more. And these are off the public market, folks. So you got 75, 80 million, 80,000 shares there. He's already got 121 million. Sanchez bought more. He did this about 2 weeks later, another 100,000 that he just bought. So now he's got 1.2 million shares. Another Form 4. Yes, Sanchez bought another 50,000 shares. This is a director. Now, the reason it's a big deal is because they know more than we do. Just because there's no news doesn't mean nothing's happening. Maybe the news press is going to come out next week. But Sanchez here, he's getting ready before the news press comes out because he knows it's going to run. So he's buying his shares early. Now they have to report them, but they don't have to tell us why they're buying them. So Sanchez here shows a lot of eagerness. And the CEO said, well, if Sanchez is buying them, I better buy some too. I'm just saying, we haven't had any news here. But I did find some things that are going on. I dove into their most recent financial. Just see what's going on. I just like to put in 2024 and just use that as my search. See anything current and then just jump in on that. Well, October 1st, the company completed the acquisition of Aveni, a Florida limited liability company, for $1,058,000. The acquisition encompasses approximately 4 acres of vacant residential real estate intended for development, 1 commercial property comprising nearly a half acre featuring a standalone building with 5,000 square feet, and then some cash and cash equivalents as assets. Also on that date, they closed another deal, same day. They closed the acquisition of Mr. Meds, a Texas limited liability company, for $54,000. They got a website here. You can go check them out. On the same day, wow, I didn't realize this was all on October 1st. Busy day. The company expanded into the pet and wildlife industry by launching Zulzi, a brand under Peaks Collative LLC. Zulzi specials and compounded medications for wildlife animals. And let's see, the last thing here I had, September 30th, the company, yes, all right. Read with me here, folks. Don't let this go over your head. I had to read this 3 times because I thought I was misreading it. As of September 30th of this year, the company has repurchased a total of 11,545,098 shares. Shares. Okay, shares. There we go. That's helping me. Of its common stock out of its $5 million common stock repurchase program. Whew. I was thinking $11 million worth of shares when they said they'd buy $5 million worth. It's like, what? Holy cow, who missed this? Okay, I don't know what 11 million shares is worth, but they're buying $5 million worth back. They've got 3 deals here they just closed. Lots of due diligence for you. Lots of catalysts. No news. And we had a lot of insider buys here. A lot of shares got added on. So let's see what the relative volume was around the company today. Nobody's paying attention to it. She's way under the radar. But then to say that, I got to remember, she's on the OTC. If we refresh this, all right. Before COVID, OTC market stocks, which there are 12,300 of them, were getting 70, 60 billion shares a day. For 2 years, more than 2 years, we're lucky if we hit 5 billion shares a day. Today, we hit 3.7. Yes, from 60 billion down to 3.7. It's been stinky down here, man, really stinky. So it's hard to get shares down here. There are lots and lots of companies that get no shares. And you say, are they off the market? Are they on the expert? Are they halted? Nope, ain't nobody buying their shares. They've only been doing 108,000 shares a day as an average over the last 30 days. Today, they did less than half that, 43,000 shares. Egads, that's one purchase, right? A share structure for the company. Yeah, it's an average share count, nothing to get mad about, nothing to get excited. Well, at least I could say this. It's 303 million shares out there. But the insiders have the lion's share, 226 million of them. We only get 76 million. They virtually got 3 times as many shares as we do. That's not bad. That's a good thing. I like to see that. The insiders are buying shares in their own company. More shares, right? They own the lion's share. They believe in this company. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I think there's something going on in the background. It's like hearing rumbling over the trees. You can't see the clouds, but you can hear the rumbling. I think something's coming. Market cap for the company right now is 46 million. Financials, boom, boom. Folks, come on. She was making no money for 3 years, some money, just enough to pay themselves. And then we jumped from $48,000 up to virtually 12 million. Something is happening here. Definitely deserves some more due diligence. I'm going to look more into this. She spent 4 million to make it, got to keep 7.8 million. Look at that. What a change. I was hoping that she didn't drop it all. No, no, no. Look at this. It's increasing. Every single quarter for the last year has been really growing at an incredible rate, over 50%. She's slowing down now, but that is nice. We're at 8.5 million with 6.5 million coming in as profit just in the last quarter. This is exciting. Balance sheet, 1.3 million in the bank, 4.7 million in assets. Liabilities are lower. So we've got everything going right here with the fundamentals. 3.1 million in stockholder equity. It's not great, but it's not in the red. It's in the black. They're making more and more money. The insiders are buying. I mean, everything looks like something is going on here. I think the stock is worth looking at. And I have not looked at this chart. I'm interested to see why she fell. Nobody's paying attention. I was wondering if I hit the button. I see I was on. I always panic. Oh, look at how flat she is. Going back a year. Well, she isn't exactly flat. She was flat on the short chart. She was flat for a long time, but look, she was sitting on her daily average, her 200 daily average. Nothing wrong with that. Then she took a real strong dip, which, you know, if there's nothing going on with the company, if there's no bad news, if you just see someone minding their own business like this and then all of a sudden drop to their knees, chances are they're about ready to do something. It just isn't falling for no reason. A lot of times these are crouches, just like a cat does, a crouch before the pounce. And the lower you go, the higher you're going to jump. Well, by golly, that dropped from 6 cents down to 0002. Can't even calculate it, folks. We're talking well over 100,000. It's big percentage. And she jumped and looked at the climb. I mean, I'm just saying, look for the crouch and pounce. I'm not saying buy here. I'm saying if you see it come back up to level, chances are there's more spring coming from this jump. You may want to get in right where she was sitting before, not risk anything. Do your average trade right there and sell on the way up. Don't get greedy. How high is this going to go? How high does it have to go before you take gains? Take it as it's climbing. Lock those gains in. And who says you have to sell everything? If you got in here and you say, okay, it's at 50 cents. If this thing goes up to $1, no, it was at 5 cents. If this thing goes up to 10 cents, I'm out. Well, it did. It hit 10 cents, but it looks so good. So sell 50% of what you have. Sell 50%, put that money in your pocket. You know, if it goes up 100%, you got everything back, 100%. So now you've just got a free trade in there. I mean, it's profit, but this one didn't cost you anything. You ride that up. You hit the next target. You say, well, if it goes up another nickel, I'm selling. Well, it did. Sell 50%. And just keep doing that. Find points on the chart where you can see she's hit her head and bounced and say, well, if she hits that bounce point, I'm going to sell 50% because at this rate, she may keep going and just sell on the way up like you're climbing a ladder. Nobody says you have to sell everything. So we had a nice climb here. She hit a high there of 32 cents. Forget about this low. She started here at her average of 6 cents and went to 32 cents. That is 500% gains we could have caught. Absolutely. When she fell, come back to your long charts to read, folks. She fell to her 20. When you're looking over there at your 5 and your 15, it looks like she's fallen to hell. You'd say, oh my God, it's out of control. But if you go to your long charts, you can see what is really happening. And then you can plan your trades by just grabbing bounces that are going to ultimately climb. She was climbing the entire time she was on this 20 and then took another bounce to 33. Then she started falling, broke through the 200 haul, fell down to the 200 MA. Thank God this is what's been stopping her because she never likes to go under it really. And here we've had another poke. Hey, we've had another poke. Is it going to bounce? I don't know. I'm just telling you, we need to watch it now. Now, she has come back up and she didn't jump immediately, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't put my eyeballs on her. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. So now we're going flat, right? We're underneath the 200. We'll take a look at the 15-minute. We just got our 200-day MA here. And that's about the best you can hope for, is that it would adjust and come closer to the 200 on the short chart. So all I can say is right now, without that big dip, I wouldn't expect anything to be going on with this because the chart just doesn't show anything. But what's that we hear in the background? Insiders buying shares, CEO, the director, 3 times. 3 times. 1014 was the last time. We saw deals were all closed October 1st. We haven't had one news press. Buy on the rumor, sell on the news, right? So you may want to consider an entry here. Plan your trades, though. You don't want to get everything at once. It could dip again, and then you could average down before the jump. Okie dokie. What time is it? Hey, I'm doing pretty good. It's 4:46, and you can still see me. God, another panic attack. Coming back here. I like to talk to you folks. I want to break this up. I need to take a break every now and then, and this is the best way to do it. 10 blues. JPC declining market. India's. Yeah, maybe good thing. Here, that's what I'm reading, folks. I'm sorry. I'm reading. You don't even know what I got. John, did you forget about my stock I sent on Twitter? No. I did not, Velmore. Your stock came late, right? I had already had 2 stocks. I went out and got it. I do believe yours is the next one. So no, you're a homie. I got you covered, girl. Do you take requests or already? No, I do take requests. Let me put that up there. No, I take requests. I try to get this research done beforehand because I can find more if I have more time to look at it. Though it's been difficult being at Penny Boys, finding trades for people over there and trading with them, and then looking at the news to get this ready. But no, I do research them prior. But when I'm looking at a stock, I've got a different way of doing it. So when you give me a stock, if we have time before 5:30, I'll just do it my way, which I'm quite fluid at, and we'll see what we can learn. Tinky Pink Dot. Don't forget about TNXP. We'll see. I normally can only get about 6 to 8. How many have I got done now? You tried to distract me. I caught on to you there. First off, I'm going to get rid of that. See, you guys are trying to take advantage of me. This money is mine. What? 5-to-1 odds? Yeah, I normally do it at the end of the show. Not doing it. This was the one, right, Belmore? Yes. Let me check my notes so everybody can see. Right there, Belmore gave me NRHI. Now, this is the interesting thing. Belmore, I do believe you said that this just came off of the expert market. I did a lot of research. I went through, I'll show you, folks. In case you didn't know this, folks, if you come over here to corporate actions, there's a little arrow here. There are things they do. This lists all the splits that happened today before the bell. You can get these splits before today if you go over to FINRA, but this tells you before. But what's really important is right here. They've changed it. It used to be called tier changes. Now they call it market changes. Every day before the bell, you can see what stocks have moved on the various tiers of the OTC. QX being the best, QB middle, pink, the ground floor, and then the expert. Timeout, you can't trade until you get your financials caught up. And this tells you if they moved up or down. WANLF today went from pink current onto the expert. If you were invested, you're stuck. You can't buy or sell that stock. Well, you can sell it, but you're not going to like the price. The marketers tear it way down right now. It also tells you when they come off. And this is when you can get some huge gains. The biggest prediction I ever made was 2 years ago. I predicted a 17,000% jump because I found a stock that was on the expert market. All of their financials came out. Their attorney letter came out, and 3 days had passed by. And I said, folks, this thing is ready to jump. And how do you know how far it's going to jump? Well, if the stock went to the expert market at a penny, chances are it went under 0001. when it went on the expert market. Yes, it fell from 0.1 to under 0001. When it comes back on the market, it will come on somewhere in the triple zeros, even though it was at a penny. So the first thing the stock does is go from 0003 all the way back to its normal price, a penny. So I called that and I said, well, we got a bounce here of 17,000% at least. The next day it came on the market and God almighty, it went 89,000%. It just flew and flew and flew. And you can catch these before the bell because they tell you what came off the expert market before the bell. The problem is you cannot get into an OTC stock with a market purchase. That's like throwing a hook out there on a passing vehicle and you just grab it. You can't do that on the OTC. You have to pick a price. And if you pick a price under it, well, it's going and you're trying to do it again and get a price ahead of it. You're chasing it. That's the worst place to be, chasing the bus. You missed it. You're going to burn yourself out, drop your luggage. It's going to go all bad. So the best thing you can do is look at the chart and see in the past where you had a bounce between the normal price and where it fell down to hell. Find a bounce point, strong support, and put a price in above that. Put a price in. Yeah, you're probably going to give away 10,000% gains, but you're still going to get 100,000. Don't get greedy. Just take what is probable. Try to find a probable move and get ahead of it. Set a trap. So when it comes flying past you, you're sitting there waiting for it. Bam, and you've gotten in. Best I can tell you, folks. Well, Velmor, back to your stock. I couldn't find it over here. I went through day after day. They're in alphabetical order. It just keeps showing you, and I could not find it. So I went over to Yahoo Finance. I went over to a couple places. I went to Google. I put in the word expert. I couldn't find it, my dear. So I'm not quite sure that we actually have a stock that came off of the expert market. I looked at the charts to see if there was any bald spots where she just wasn't on the market, because that's what they do. They yank you off the market. Yeah, she's missing a few days, but there's a lot of stocks missing days because they just aren't being traded. There's nothing happening. So Natural Resource Holdings, she's an American company out of Utah, finished today at about 22 cents. She was up 43% today. She is on the pink tier. She's got one of those verified pieces of information, the transfer agent verified. I don't call it a deal breaker if the other one's not there, but, you know, I'm not sticking around long. Shell risk. This means they're in business. They've actually got something they're doing, but they're not making any money. Or do they? Not too long ago, this year, they changed that. All they have to do is make a purchase, an acquisition, and get some assets. And we just read they had that property they were going to develop. They did actually get a building, and they got some assets, cash, and something else. You're in business. Once you got that, you were in business, even though you're not doing anything yet. So that's why they've been probably marked as a shell risk. So let's see. What did I learn about this company? Did I have anything to share with you? Yeah, and the highlights have already dropped off. Okay, I remember. I am into their most recent financial. There's just no news. There's very, very little information out there about this company. What I found here, the company recognized revenue this last financial from mineral products produced. This is a mining company. I don't have a whole lot of information about them. As I said, I know they're a mining company. They have recognized revenues from minerals produced from these mines, which is always a good thing. I rarely find mines that are making money, that are actually pulling stuff out of the ground. Most of the mines we look at are still exploration. And I hate looking at mines and biotechs that don't have any revenues because we're waiting for a miracle. And I hate waiting. They also recognized revenues from some royalties that they're getting. Don't know what that was about. The other thing that caught my attention was they were behind on taxes from 2016 to 2020. They incurred $25,000 a debt for each year. So they got $125,000 that they had to pay to get that all taken care of. Outside of that, I really could not find a whole lot of information here. So let's look at the information they do give us. What is the relative volume? Well, something's got to be going on. That's not a ton of volume, but you got to remember we're on the OTC where stocks don't get anything sometimes. And she was barely there for the last 30 days, getting like 500 shares a day. That's like one purchase. Today she did 42,000 shares. 43. Share structure. I have no clue. Haven't looked. Well, look at that. We've got ourselves a low float. Outstanding share count is, let's call it 6 million. The insiders own a ton of these, which could be a bit scary, actually. They've got 5.1 million. Wow. Wow. This has got a float under a million. 559,000 shares. All right, the reason that's a bad thing here, folks. First off, it's a super low float, which is great, great, great. Oh my God. What did they do today? 48,000 shares is all they did, 48,000. Well, if they sell 1 million shares, just a bloody 1 million shares in one day, they would have to sell every share virtually twice. I mean, that's something. You'd have to put all the stock back on the shelves because everything that was up got sold. We got to sell it again. Problem is, there is no second stock. We own it. We got to sell it for them to buy it. So if we start doing 10 million shares a day, holy cow, talk about a supply and demand issue. This thing could rocket. But as fast as it rises, it can fall. The other problem here is that the insiders do own a lot. With the pinks, there is always the possibility of a pump and dump. They can come out with a very big piece of news that they do not have to validate, say they are in conversations, they are considering a letter of intent. There's nothing hardcore here. This is why companies get sued, because people read more into these press releases than they actually print. There's an art to printing these news presses. And the stock will run. Well, those that own a lot of shares are going to make a lot of money. We don't have a lot of shares. How many can we possibly sell? Well, 559 million. They can sell 559,000. They can sell 5 million. So they could unload all their shares and make a lot of money, and we would get caught. So you always have to be leery of that. So when you get a news press, look, there's nothing wrong with playing a pump and dump. Take your gains on the way up. Get in on that chart, draw your supports and resistances. As speed bumps, the price slows down and speeds up going over, and take the gains underneath every support. That's how you beat a pump and dump. I love them. Please, you know of any pump and dumps? Let me know about them before they happen. I will jump into that bad boy. Market cap for this company is under 1 million. We're at 873,000. All right, let's see if they're making any money. See, I don't trust a company who isn't making any money. No. I do believe that there's rules coming here very, very shortly for shell companies, shell risks. It doesn't matter. Shell company, they're going to be treated like SPACs. When a SPAC comes onto the market, it has no business. It has no revenues. It's just building a spec home on the NASDAQ, and it wants to rent that spec home. So it's looking for somebody on a lower tier or a private market that wants to go public. And they go out looking for a deal. Well, if they don't cut a deal in 18 to 24 months, they're kicked off the market. They have to liquidate, which means anybody who bought those spec shares at $10 a share gets all their money back. Yes, if you buy into a SPAC and they fail to produce a deal, you get all your money back, $10. If you paid 11, you're only going to get 10. If you got lucky and bought it at 6, you're going to get back 10. Because the price is locked until they make a deal at $10. Though we can bid it, we can move it, it's only worth $10. Normally, it's the warrant people play with while a SPAC is in process of closing a deal. So we got no money here, and shell companies are going to be given time limits as well. Cut a deal in 18 to 24 months or get the heck off the market. We don't need you here, because we got companies that have been shell companies for over 10 years and still haven't cut a deal. And they're making money off of us regularly. Balance sheet. This is going to tell the tale. Oh, come on. Nothing in the bank. No assets. Nobody owes them money. They've got no investments. They got 38,000. Where the heck that came from, I don't know. Of course you got liabilities. You've got to pay yourself, right? I'm sure the management gets a paycheck. Well, they have no assets in the bank. They've got nothing. Who's paying them? We are. 269,000. Wow. We just gave them $269,000 this last quarter. They don't deserve it. They're doing absolutely nothing, folks. Nothing personal, Velmore. I'm just giving my opinion on the stock. I've been tore up by pinks, and I just ain't got no love for them anymore. They got to prove themselves to me now. There's their last quarterly report. The K. 10K, that is an annual. That came out in July. 10Q is a quarterly. That came out in September. After the quarterly, you see a 10KA. That means something was wrong on the 10K originally. That A means they had to mend something. Maybe they had a bigger number there. We made this much money, and then they said, oh, no, we really didn't make any money. And they had to fix it. Whatever. They will normally tell you what needed to be corrected somewhere. Good luck finding it. All right, I do believe that's everything we got for poor NRHI, but she went up 43% today. Hot charts. I do like hot charts, so let's go take a look at NRHI. See, when I'm playing charts over there at Penny Boys each day, I have no idea what the news is. I don't go looking at the news. I'm not looking at the fundamentals. I have no clue if there's a reason for it to run. For all I know, they just declared bankruptcy. And this thing's climbing. We're playing it. Yeah, lots of us. Maybe somebody will say they just declared bankruptcy. Doesn't slow us down a bit. If a stock is running, that's all you need. That's a probable move. If you get into a road that has traffic constantly moving like the expressway, you're going to get hit. So that's what we're looking for. Expressway traffic, we don't give a heck why the traffic's moving. Because they're going to work or they're running from a nuclear bomb. I don't care. If you're going that way, I'm for you. Let's jump down to the 1 day, 1 year. Wow. Curiosity, boy, I'd like to go back and see what happened here. So a year ago, we were at $1.16. Something happened, let's call it mid-December. Maybe they needed to get this up for fair market value. I'm not kidding. Companies will, we have a choice to either pay taxes on our stocks that we bought and sold, or we can pay taxes on our stock given a fair market value. They will look at all your stocks on the market, whether you bought them or sold them. Yes, even if you haven't sold them, and give them a fair market value on the very last day of the year. There it is, the very last day of the year, right there. So they could have been pushing this price up for fair market value so that they got better taxes in some way or shape or form, because this thing jumped from $1.60 up to $14. God almighty. And look, we don't need it to be that high anymore. Boom. And this is what can happen to you if you own a lot of blue chip stocks and go MTM, mark to market. They will fair market value all of your stocks. And a lot of these big companies can have surges the very last couple of days and push that stock up way high. And then the very first day of the market for the new year, and all of a sudden you're not worth what you were worth 2 days ago, and you're paying taxes on a higher amount. So you've got to be very, very careful. Sad part here is she started at 116 and fell all the way down to 33 cents. So she ended up worse than where she was. And she has been down there for a long time, hitting a low of 0.008. She just kept falling. Looking at our 6-month, 4-hour, falling. We don't have a 200-day MA in the picture. She's just not selling enough shares yet. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. No 200 here either. We can honestly say she's starting to make a move. She was flat as a pancake here. Had a jump. When was this? On the 30th of last month? The 30th? Yesterday. Yesterday she took a jump. Another jump, right? She went from 0.006. What? See, this does look like it came off of the expert market. That's the sort of jumps you get right there. 0.008, but normally the stock will go into the triple zips. I'm not kidding you, folks. Unless, of course, it hit it for like 2 days. If it hit it for 2 or 3 days, it would still show up. I should have still seen it there. Now, maybe I missed it. but by golly, from 006 up to 24 cents. Oh my God, I can't even figure that out, folks. 200,000% gains, maybe. So for every $100 bill you got in down here at, you could have made $200,000. I think the math is right. Don't quote me, but I'm thinking that's right. She has been on an uptrend since then. She hit a high today of 25 cents, and she's fallen back to 21 cents. Is she going to keep climbing? I don't know. I don't know why she climbed in the first place. I don't know why we got a second day of climbing. Maybe this was where she was. This isn't even close to where she was at before she. I don't know, folks. I don't like the stock because I don't know enough about it. 2 days of bouncing without any volume. I mean, we had a little volume, but it's not a surge. It's not a surge. But if you know something, if something came out on Twitter or something like that, maybe. But I think the big play is over. The 200,000% jump kind of took all the wind out of the sail. The rest is just piddly stuff now. Where are we at? 5 o'clock? That's good. All right. I got a half hour here. I'm going to come back to you, folks. All right. I need a drink. My voice is getting a bit parched. Yeah, I know, but I didn't see it on there. Like I said, nobody listed it. Not Google, not Yahoo, not the OTC market. So wherever it was listed as expert, everybody else missed it. So, but it sure looks like it was probably down there. Okay, now let's see. Velmore was up there. I'm looking at the stocks to see what we can look at now. Okay, normally I would have Velmore. You're on my brain. I would have Taylor with me, and she'd find the hot charts, ones that looked like we could take gains on, and we'd look at those. But she's not here right now, so maybe I should take these in order. TNXP, Tinky, I'm going to take yours. Oh, Robbie, I know you're getting upset with me right now. I want to look at TNXP right now because I did see something earlier about it, and I'm not quite sure what it was. Almost forgot my button. No. What was that? Now I got to come over here. TNXP. I can't see what's going on. Once I leave you, I have no idea what you can see. So I got to use a whole separate computer here. Oh, why did I choose the pharmaceutical? Shame on me. Okay. Pharmaceuticals it is. I need some Vice, folks. I need some Vice. My head is spinning without my nicotine, THC, and anything else I put in it. Okay. It's all legal. TNXP, Tonix Pharmaceuticals. This is a biotech company. They are based out of New Jersey. Finished today at 14.5 cents, down about 6%. They're on the NASDAQ, so they come with all those benefits. Tonix Pharmaceuticals is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company developing therapeutics and vaccines to treat and prevent human diseases. Well, I hope so, and alleviate suffering. Aren't they all? I mean, come on, say something new here. Its portfolio includes cancer drugs, rare diseases, infectious. All right, so you're into anything and everything right now. Let's see if we can get a quick peek just by looking at their website. Pipeline should give us some indication. Oh, see, that's a terrible website. At a glance, sorry, I can't see anything. Well, we tried, folks. We gave it a try. So we're going to have to do some more research and due diligence there. Now, since I haven't done pre-due diligence, I'm going to do it my way. I start from one side of the page and look at the numbers. Then I come back and look at the text. So relative volume for today was down from about 26 million down to roughly 14 million. Share structure on the company is pretty decent. We got 22 million. I don't know what the float is. Subtract whatever the insiders own. That'll tell you the float. You can probably find that information if you're that curious. Market cap, we're at about 3.3 million, 3.4 million. All right, are they making any money as a clinical stage? Oh, that's interesting. I was not expecting anything. 7.7 million at the end of 2023. They got to keep some of that. 3 million, hadn't had any money ever. So that's a good thing. And they're still making money. All right. This is great. Oh, rats. That last quarter, they're losing money. They were doing so good here, too. Bringing in 2 to 3 million every quarter, making profits. Profits started to fall. What are they giving themselves raises, taking on more employees, buy a new building, rent went up? What the heck happened? That's why you dive into the financials. What do they got in the bank? We got about 4 million in the bank, 70 million in assets. Liabilities is less than 30 million. So we got 42 million in stockholder equity. So we've just had revenues kick into high gear. We've got strong stockholder equity here, and supposedly they've got drugs in the pipeline. I still haven't seen that. All right, let's check out the textual information, see what we can get here. Waiting for the news patiently, and we get nothing from the news. Doesn't necessarily mean there isn't any, just doesn't show up here. We got an 8K. We got a couple 8Ks here. Boy, look, we got 3. Let's look at the first one. These are material changes. I just normally come in and look at the headline right here. If it says something that catches my eye, I'll take time to read it. Glancing through here, what's this? They received the first payment from the Defense Threat Reduction Agency within the U.S. Department of Defense. So they've got a deal going, a contract with the Department of Defense. I do believe it is to develop small molecule broadband antiviral agents. This happened, I do believe, when the first monkeypox scare came out. I remember this deal was taken care of back at that point in time. Let's see here. Other events. October 17th, first payment. Yeah, we just looked at that. All right. Let's take a look at another 8K on the 28th. Company, this is their operational financials. They had 28 million in cash and cash equivalents, blah, blah, blah. We actually looked at that, so we don't need to go through it again. And the last 8K, matters of vote. Oh, okay. I normally just look in if they're going to have a shareholders meeting, I just go through to see what they're going to vote on to see if there's a reverse stock split. Heads up, you know, before they even said yes, because they never say no. I ain't never seen a reverse stock split voted on against. Never. So, approve an amendment to increase the common stock to 1 billion shares in the event a reverse stock. Oh boy. Wait a minute. Let's see up here. Yep, there you go. The company's shareholders approved a proposal to authorize the company in its discretion at any time within 1 year to effect a reverse stock split of nothing less than 1 to 2 and nothing more than 1 to 100. So there you go. So within a year, anytime they want, they can do a reverse split between 1 and 2 and 1 and 100. Now, the SEC or FINRA, can't remember which, does have a rule that they have to give us a 5-day warning. It can be through a filing. It can be through a press release. Now, that's what they say. But, you know, I feel that they get away with way too much down here because I saw one last week. They had a reverse stock split. And it was like, wow, I don't remember seeing anything about this. And I went and looked. 3 days. We had a 3-day warning on it, not 5. Well, who the hell did anything? What, I got to go sue them now? FINRA and the SEC aren't going to do their job and fine them or something? I don't get it. So we've got a reverse stock split here. Approved. Who knows when it's going to be used? Well, normally it's going to be used when they close in on a penny, but this is way beyond that. This isn't even a pink, you know? So we got a reverse stock split here because they've probably got to get up. I didn't see that. We didn't go back far enough, but chances are they're in hot water with the NASDAQ for being under $1. Being on the major exchange, you can only go under $1 for so long. When you do, they give you a warning. You got 6 months to get that price up over $1. If you don't do it, you're going down to the OTC or you're going to have to do a reverse stock split. And right now we're at 14 cents. So it would take at least a 10 roughly to get us up over. But you don't want a reverse stock split. It's going to put you just over the line so that you can fall under it again. You're going to want to push yourself up there. Plus, you want to get your stock in front of people who want to invest in companies that are growing. This company just got revenues. So they've obviously got drugs out there that they're making money on. We haven't done the research on it. So this may be a good time to look at the company. Looks like they're moving from clinical stage to commercialization, which is a huge deal with the biotech. So I didn't think we had any news. I could, let's see here. I know that blinds you. I'm going to come over here, TNXP. Yes, you're with me. I love it when you follow me. See if we can find any news. Just because it's not listed there doesn't mean it didn't happen. Come on, speed up a little bit. I got people waiting on me, places to go. Urgh, what are you doing? Okay, let's see. Our most recent piece of news was a couple days ago. See, we need to know this stuff. Toxic pharmaceuticals to present at Bio Europe in 2024. They're over there in Stockholm, Sweden. Let's see here. They're going to be talking about several key products, including this one drug for fibromyalgia, which is a disease that affects people anywhere and everywhere, anytime and all the time. It causes pain in your fingernails, in the tip of your nose, in your kneecaps. It just hurts, and you don't know why it hurts. That's fibromyalgia, and nobody's got anything for it, which has received FDA Fast Track designation. They also have a drug for cocaine intoxication, for organ transplant rejection. So they're spreading the news. The more people you excite about your drug, especially if you're starting to make money, the more investors you start to get in. And let's see, on the 17th, they received first contract payment from the U.S. Department of Defense. See, they did have news. Under this contract, which is worth $34 million over the next 5 years. That's where the money came from. Dun, da, 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 dun. See, it all comes in view when you start looking around and taking your time to do your due diligence. So we do have some things going on here with Tonix Pharmaceuticals right now. Let's take a look at the chart. I think I covered everything. My voice, it's going, folks. It's going. We got to move fast. I know a lot of people who would love to be with me when my voice goes up. Okay. Oh, we did. We just had it there. Ooh, is that it? I got lots of lines on this chart. Let me get rid of that. All those lines are my supports and resistances. Supports and resistances are wherever the price likes to bounce. If it's $1 and it comes down and bounces up, it comes up and bounces down. Why? Why are you doing that? We don't know. That's a big question mark line. That's a speed bump. It likes to slow down before it hits it and speeds up after it gets over it. So we draw these here, and we like to make plays in between each one of these. And even though they're like for 10 cents or 12 cents, if you have 1,000 shares, every penny is $10. Every 500 shares is $5. And if you know it likes to run from here to here easy, what's a probable move? Going from one speed bump to the next, chances are the car's not going to stop for anything. Unless a cat runs out in front of you or something. You know it's got to be something strange. And that's what we play over at Penny Boys every day. Probable moves. Get in, get out. Now, what if it falls? That happens. Well, we have a stop loss. You put this in with your buy order. You pick a point underneath your buy, underneath these lines where the price likes to dip, but go right under the dip. Don't let the dip hit you. Go underneath it. And if it falls, you get out with a little loss. But if you take your gain, you're making like $80, $120. You're losing 20. So what? Well, one loss is only 1/4 of a win. So you try to do that. Make sure you're winning 4 times as much as you're willing to gamble. And you will always be ahead. You can lose 4 times every one win. And normally you're winning more often than you're losing because you're playing probable moves, locking in those gains before they decide to get away. And if it's a strong stock, like I said, sell half on the way up, then sell another half. No one says you have to sell everything. It's free to sell. You OTC traders have gotten used to paying for every trade. Up on the major exchange, it's free. You can buy 1 share to bump the price up. You wouldn't be the first one to do it, I guarantee you. All right, so we got a high here over the year, 52-week high. Nope, it's not. That is a 52-week high. I'm looking to see if we have any reverse stock splits. Don't see any. We were at $22 back in December. She's been on a downtrend underneath the 50, going underneath the 200 haul. Right here is when I started watching it. Let's just get rid of these lines. I know they're a pain. Hold on. I can bring them back if I remember. So she's been really flat. I know it looks super flat, but chances are there's more activity there than you think. Yeah, see? So she's been rolling around here, but she's been sticking underneath that 50. You can see she just keeps hitting her head on it. Low here is 11 cents, 12 cents, coming down to the 4-hour 6-month. We're at $14 6 months ago and 11 cents. Now, this is sad. She had a chance to break out right here. When the 200 finally gets close, it's something else to climb up on. Don't expect the stock to be climbing when she's on top of the biggest support, the 50. There's nothing else above her to get on. How can she climb? She doesn't fly. She climbs like Mario Brothers, bouncing from level to level. You got to have a level. Well, here come the level. Well, once it got close, she should have made an attempt. She took a while, made an attempt. That was it. Failed attempt. Came right back down and continued on her fall. Now, let's see. Let's come down to our 1-hour look here. She's just going sideways, really. She's jumping around, and right now she's under the 200. Over, under, over, under. Our 200 is rolling over right now on our 1 hour as she's down here pushing up. Again, it looks like everything is just kind of going sideways on the chart. The price is probably going to fight the MAs, pushing through and just keep the 200 basically in a center line. I don't see a whole lot going on here on the chart. Wow. So now on our small chart, she is really falling hard. We're down to the 15-minute. We hit a high here of 18 cents. Now we're down to 13 cents. And she's still bouncing underneath that 50-day MA. You can see she is really not wanting to get over that. She may try to fight it, but I don't see a lot of gumption going here. But again, TNXP to me seems like it's on the cusp. They've got these drugs that I guess they've got something going on with the Department of Defense without having a drug actually on the market. That's the way it appears. They are working for the Department of Defense to find an antiviral drug. I don't think they found it yet. They're just being paid. Wow. That means they don't have to put any shares on the market to get money from us. They're actually making revenues, and you can know a lot of that money is going to go into the company so that they can keep researching these other drugs. So this is a good time to be looking at the company because they're making money. And now that they've got money, maybe they can make headway with some of the others. But a catalyst, I'm not quite sure I see a catalyst here. Could be a long hold. All right, let's come on down to the next stock. I got to do that before my voice goes. Where are we at? There we are. Oh, right. I got to blind you guys just to get back. All right. We are going to look at Radar. I see Siffy out there. I think we looked at Siffy a while ago. I'm kind of curious to know what Radar did. The last time we looked at him, they had some sort of deal. And I'm hoping there was something new since the last time we looked at it. I don't want to be looking at a stock that didn't have anything done to it since the last time we looked. So Radar, ticker RDAR. We got a few minutes here. We'll try to get through this nice and quick. RDAR used to be a bully app for kids. It was on Apple. It was on Google. They had police stations and celebrities backing us up, and it was a way for kids to report bullying of all kinds, fighting, guns. It hooked in first responders, the police, the teachers, the management. Everybody was hooked into this. It never did anything for years and years. It just didn't go anywhere. No money, no revenues. So if I remember correctly, they cut a deal here recently. But we're going to start with the numbers first. Boy, am I going hoarse. Yeah. Horrible horse impression. All right. We are looking at about the same amount of volume. She's been doing roughly 313 million shares a day. Today she did 332 million shares. Bumped a little bit. Share structure. Well, I am presuming over the last few years when she wasn't making any money, she was just pouring shares on the market. Just a presumption, because that's ridiculous. Wow. Authorized share count They've been authorized 16 billion shares. My God, they got 6 billion on the market and could put 10 billion more on the market. I'm not liking that. Yes, the insiders own 1/3 of it. They get 2.3 billion. We get 4 billion. They ever go through a reverse stock split, which they could do if they've just cut a deal, this next company may look at this and say, that's crap. And looking at that price, they're going to say, we're not going to get any investors down here at 001. The new company may want to be up at $1 or $2 and want different category investors looking at this company. So I would be highly suspect of a reverse stock split coming. But the insiders are going to go through it too. But now we've got new insiders who have a new deal, so they may not be worried about this situation. Not like me and you. Market cap for the company, 5.6 million. Financials, I told you, they ain't got nothing. I'm going to be surprised I see anything here. I'm not surprised. $2 in the bank? No, it's 2,000. 6,000 in assets. What? 3.5 million, 3.6 million in liabilities. And who do you think is carrying all that? Yeah, through all of those billions of shares. That's right, folks. We've been carrying this company for a very long time. So let's see if we can find something going on with this Pink. Yeah, they've got the validated information. They say she's a shell risk. I'll bet you that's because she just made this deal. I'm hoping. She's at a great price, folks. I got to tell you that. 001, I don't care if it's on a Pink, if they're moving on the chart. 001 only needs this much movement. Think of this as an odometer. That right there is the only other number on the odometer. You get up to $1, you got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You got all those numbers. There's only one here. So for this to go to 002, does it pretty quick. That's 100% gains. Goes to 003, 004, 400%. So this is a good place to get in if the stock is moving. You can make a lot of money for a stock that moves up to the penny mark. And that's when I would expect this to do the reverse stock split. So what do we got for news? Hey, current news right here. All right, let's see. That's today. Let's go back just a little bit. Radar releases first shareholder update. That would be good to read, but it's probably old by now. Receives their patent and trademark approval. Is that for the Bullion app? New Radar Inc. New Radar Inc. Oh, that's interesting. New Radar Inc. president and director issues shareholder letter on recent acquisition and transaction. They announced an agreement with shareholders for the cancellation, yes, of 1.7 billion common shares and no reverse stock split. Wow, those are powerful statements there. So 1.7 billion from how many shares did we have there? 6.3. So we're going down 17 from 63 down to 41, something like that. So you're talking 4 billion shares, which that's a nice chunk. Come on now. That's a huge chunk of shares to be taken off of there by all means. And what else? And no reverse stock split. I'd rather live with too many shares, honestly. A guy who's gone through 70 reverse stock splits, I would rather live with too many shares than to go through a freaking reverse stock split. Radar Inc. CFO invited for interview on floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Well, if that isn't a dead giveaway of what's going on, New York Stock Exchange ain't going to talk to no Pink CEO. No, he must have plans to uplist. And that's what we really need to be focusing in on here. Do we see the about the company, dear shareholders, looking for the word uplist? Matter of fact, I'm just going to put that in here real quick. You got to spell it right if you want to find it right. Nope, those words don't show up here. Okay. Historical financial performance concerning the two companies. There were two companies, Mexidea US and Mexidea Ireland, and they've moved their corporate office to Florida, I believe it is. In 2023, the combined two companies, which are now owned by Radar, generated over $349 million in revenue with an EBITDA exceeding $9 million. So you're looking at a company that had zero revenues that now have two companies that last year did about $340 million. So they should have revenues showing up the next quarterly report. I would presume, unless this doesn't fit into that time scale. But the bottom line is, just because it isn't in the report doesn't mean money isn't coming in. So this is a great thing. Is there any dates I can see here? I'm presuming this is complete. We expect that progress in this regard. We are also finalizing a comprehensive financial restructuring of Radar's business aimed at solidifying our balance sheet, eliminating debt, and positioning the company for continued sustainability and profitability. Not a word about the New York Stock Exchange or uplisting. Well, the only way they could uplist is through a reverse stock split. And they just said no reverse stock split. It's not like you can buy your way onto the New York Stock Exchange. You can get your price up to $4. You can pay your way on by paying the amount. I think it's like $150,000 a year to be on the New York Stock Exchange. Could be more, and $75,000 to be on the NASDAQ. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. We need to dive into these news presses and get some more. But obviously, the biggest thing I can see here, one, we have no reverse stock split. Two, they just eliminated a ton of shares, which is good. That's just added about 1/5 shareholder value right there. And they got revenues coming in. And that's it. A pink with revenues is a pink to be respected. Now I'll look at you. Now I'll talk to you. Now I'll even consider letting you hold my money for more than a day. All right, let's see what we can learn about this company. How much have I gone through? We've gone through everything. I forget now. I'll have to take a peek. Let's see if we've got anything here. A 1Z. I'm not familiar with the 1Z. So we won't touch that. 25-3G1. Maximum offering shares. More shares on the market. Are you kidding me? 3 million more shares. What's this? The PQA9 reflects a 1 in 100 reverse stock split of the company's common stock that became effective December 20th, 2023. Wow. We've got 6 billion shares of stock 9 months after a 1 in 100 reverse stock split. What the heck did they have before? Trillions of shares? Or have they just loaded the market up with shares before he decided to make a change? I mean, wow, something's going on here, folks. Goodness gracious. So there looks like another 3 million. I don't know if this is reselling or an offering. It looks like it could just be another offering. But they're canceling that 1.3 billion shares, which means they can't resell those. Those are being canceled. Those should come off the authorized share count. Thank God for that. Okay, I do believe that's everything. Oh, man, look how old that is. I'm sorry, folks. That bloody thing was from 3/14 of this year. That was the last filing until the most recent one. I do believe that covers everything, right? Sure does. So let's go look at that chart. What time is it? It is 5:33. I want to see a hot chart here. I like hot charts. That don't look hot on the short. That's the 4 hour. You can see the last time we played it, how high the price was. Looking for my 1 day. So the low price back when I was looking at it was 0017. Right now we're at 0011. So let's see what we got here. Well, gee whiz. Looks like we have our 52-week high. We sure do. Our 52-week high was just last week, virtually 2 weeks ago, at 0029. How about that? That snuck out. I didn't even see it coming. Oh, look at this. See here? These two arrows right there, and it says on the 1 hour chart. I forgot to take these off. I did a video a while ago, and I got to go to the long chart for it. Those are two bars that told me that there was a climb going to come. Let me see. I got to go at least to the bigger chart right there. Yep, I think these are pillars. I think I talked about these already in this show right there. Yep, both of those right there. You see how this bar stays on its home base MA. It's on the 9-day. The wick went through the 200, the 20, and the 50. A pillar, a foundation going into the ground. We had another one here. It looks small, but this went through 3. This went through 4 MAs, that pillar. This one went through 3. Then when you take a back out picture and you see what the heck happened, Well, you can see it right there. So those are pillars. I look for bars that stay above the MA it's on and a wick that goes down through multiple MAs. You normally see a run right after that. I've shown you one of those here. I'm sorry. And there's the other one. My God. So many different charts right there. And I picked this up at 0004. I never look at charts at 0004. And I had seen these bars. And just from 0004, she had jumped up 100%. So forget about all this stuff. I'm not going to take credit for that. But we did get a jump there 100% with those two bars. So those bars show up anywhere. On any time frame, you see a bar with a long wick going through a bunch of MAs, go look at that stock. It's probably about ready to run. So this is on an uptrend now. Once she got on top of the 200, right there, she started getting some volatility. Our bars are getting bigger. The bounces are getting bigger. That's what we're looking for. It gets crazy. But right now we're on a bounce, aren't we? We took a bounce off the 50 there and the 50 there, all the way down to the 200, hitting our head on the 50, hit the 200, hit our head on the 50, and now we're kind of getting pinched. With these big bounces, it doesn't want to get pinched. It's going to do something. It's going to break free out of this. Looking at your oscillators, you can see everything is turning up right now. All of our, they're low, but they're all coming back from that low point right now, climbing. And again, you're going to want supports and resistances in here. I've got to come down here and add some more. You know these ones I drew up here? I'll never have to change them. Unless this price gets so high and I never see them again, they're going to sit there because they never need to be updated. They never go outdated. Once you get a support or resistance, it's there forever. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. A lot of rolling. Look at your main 200s here. We got two 200s, the regular one and the 200 haul. And they are rolling around here. But right now, they've come close together. Both of them have leveled off, and both of them are starting to turn up. These are cues for me. These are what I look for when I talk about these hot stocks in most of my videos. That's the setup I'm looking for. I'm looking for my main strong MAs to be flat. The next one is I want the MAs in the middle, because everything's in the middle of this 200 sandwich. I want them pointing up. Everything's pointing up. Doesn't matter if it's a little or a lot, just point up. And I watch the price normally bounce off of the 200 haul to and through the 200 before it breaks out and runs. This is set up, folks. I'm not crazy about where the company's coming from, but I like what everything is doing right now. The money coming in is what's going to make the company successful on the charts. Revenues are what all the market is about. Are you making any money or not? Money talks. Everything else walks. I'm liking this chart. The oscillators, they show that they're working on it right now. We've had position change. Everything has had a crossover, climbed, leveling off. I'm liking it, folks. I would put radar on my watch list. I really don't like to show off these sort of stocks over at Penny Boys because when they fall, you can lose money quick. You really got to have a tight stop loss on these stocks. But when they run, your profits can really be strong. And this is at a great price. I would look at this tomorrow morning. It is on the OTC. It will not trade pre-market. So you're not going to have to fight any of that. You're just going to have to be there. Now, again, you cannot buy a stock at market. You have to buy at limit. So if you get the feeling, if you can open up level 2 and actually see orders building up, you can see the buyers are building up over here and the sellers are building up, you better put your price in higher because it's going to be a jump shot. It'll jump as soon as it opens. And if that first bar goes past you, you're out of the game until she falls, and then you can get back in. So play it like that. You're going to have to read the charts before the morning and don't wait for them. Or the best, most prudent thing is to wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes and see where the market's going. But this is right at the breakout point. This is perfectly set up. I am loving that right now. I would ask it for a date if it would only tell me its name. All right, folks. Oh, I lose. No. God darn it. God. Oh man. I thought I had it, folks. I was getting cocky. I thought I was smart enough, no brain farts. I look over there and I see I'm looking at myself and not the chart. Bloody hell. Well, you know what I said. I hope you stuck around for that because radar is worth a play, folks, even though you didn't see the bloody chart. My God. Look, just take a peek at the chart. That's all I'm saying, folks. Just take a peek at the chart. Right here. Right there, folks. This is what I'm talking about. That 200's gone flat. That 200's gone flat. All of these are climbing in the middle. The price has already broke out, come down to just the paper thin 9, sitting on the 9, getting ready to break out. That's what I was showing you. So you may want to put that on your watch list tomorrow. Okay. I lost. I even forgot to take down her comment. Oh man, talk about brain farts. You guys should be glad you only have to listen to me. I'm the one that has to sit here in it. I appreciate your time, folks. I hope I entertained you. Hope you learned something new here. Hope to see you tomorrow over at Penny Boys. Come over to Penny Boys. It's kind of like this. Bring us your hot charts. I bring in hot charts. We have other team members bring in hot charts, and then I set up the charts. That's what I do. I find these supports and resistances easy. And in the morning, we'll give you some plays. We'll give you some entries and exits. We'll tell you, get that stop loss in there. We want to help you make some money, help you learn how to do scalping, and anything else you want to learn, folks. That's what we do at Penny Boys. We teach people how to trade. We have got professional traders over there, and we want to earn your trust first. So come in there and ask your questions. We got people who are in those fields that you're trading in who will answer your questions. Free members page. Penny Boys link down below. Stock Wizard over there every day. So should you. See you next week. And I'm not going to say anybody's going to be here next week. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Maybe I'll have to hire somebody. I definitely need someone to tap me on the shoulder and say, you want to put the picture back up? Thanks, folks. I'll see you next week.